How's it going, Bearable team? BrendonD here. So let's jump right into the CVS. Real nice orb after the open. Had a bit of FOMO that I missed this move and said, alright, let's try to catch it on the other side. After this bearish 5-minute candle, said maybe due for a pullback. It's a little bit extended to the 9 on the 5-minute. So I said after this 1-minute candle, it looked like I was starting to lose it. So I went short just below the 9 EMA on the 1-minute. And look at this, it had a nice hammer candle here, ricocheting off the 20 with some conviction, some volume there. Not a great sign to stay short. It might have been just a micro pullback on the 1 minute, still trending up, and it's not going to pull back on the 5. But I was stubborn. I waited 1, 2, 3, 4 1-minute candles, all above VWAP, small candles, but still bearish. And my stop was at this consolidation level here. And I thought if it breaks that, it'll retest high today, and it did later on. So, you can't just say throw in a $50 max loss, depending on the share size, and, have a stop at a tech level. When you have these signs here on the 1 minute or what the stock's doing, you have to do analysis on the fly. And, a first trade on Monday after a holiday, you may not want to get out, but I paid for it. I mean, sure, I respected my stop, which is great, but I could have done it sooner, waiting 4 minutes above, 4 bullish candles above the 9 EMA on the 1 minute. That was just foolish. And now that I look back, I want to move forward and not let that happen again. So it wasn't a great start, but I didn't give up. I said, let's keep looking at watching the stock. Real nice move. Let's see if it pulls back to that 9 on the 5-minute later in the day. And I saw 2 nice dojis up here. Real high today. Looked nice that it could start pulling back now. So I went short when it started to test this 20 a little bit more later on and said, okay, let's start going short. And a stop was high today, and my first scale out would have been the 9 on the 5-minute. So I had about a risk reward of about 1-to-1, maybe a little more, and then I wanted to get the VWAP eventually. So initial risk reward was a 1-to-1. So what happened here, took it short, was making nice moves down, started to snap back. Wasn't the best, but I was looking at the 5-minute, and this is just kind of like an ABCD pattern, pretty normal. I mean, it didn't crack the high of this bearish candle here, and said I could deal with it. That's not really showing what it would have showed earlier with these bullish signs. So it was pretty normal. My stop was still here, and I gave it some time to work with, a little longer than I thought, about almost a half an hour, 20 minutes in this trade, and wanted to see what it was doing at these 50s. If it starts losing the 50, I mean, it's wedging between the 50 here, and this wasn't the nicest little pop here, but then it sold off the next 1 minute, and it didn't even test this high here, so it was looking weaker. And then my first was to get out at this 50 EMA here. It just cracked this 50 that was coming in, all this action here. It was getting real tight, and I definitely wanted to get out the 50 EMA over here and said, or is that the SMA? I have to double check on that, but that was definitely a nice technical level to get out, which ended up being the 9 EMA on the 5-minute. So I scaled that some here, moved stop to break even, lock in profits. And then the next was getting off at the 20 on the 5-minute, which is halfway down. And then last bit was at the VWAP. Alright guys, real quick, last trade of the day at NVDA was just an overall rejection of the previous day high after these huge bullish candles on the 5-minute. It seemed really extended, and it showed on these 1 minute on 1 minute chart. And after 3 bearish candles pulling back to the 9, I said, alright, I may lose, it may retest VWAP, so we can have a stop at high a day, first scale out, risk reward. It would be about a 1-to-1 risk reward. And what I did was I waited. I thought I missed my chance after this huge drop here, pulled back, so I re-entered at the 9 thinking that it may hold that for a little bit. And so I entered short there. Target was around this 20 VWAP area here, and it just sold off real quick, so I covered a little bit there, moved stop to break even, and then got out at this little consolidation and moving average on the 5-minute. It was usually mostly the 5-minute here. And so I got out there, and then the last bit was looking at the 50s, actually 4 scale outs here, the 50s on the 1 minute, just thinking that, there's a lot of action over here. This is where the stock's right now, so I said, let's just get out here. And it was chopping up and around, so that was probably a good area to get out.